welcome and let's get started. Today I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful crochet buffalo plaid hat. You can see it's got this nice brim on it that's doubled. And then I'll also show you how to make it so there's pretty much seamless. You don't have any loose ends on the inside or anything like that. It's got a really nice finish to it. The other thing you can do with this hat is you can make it with 3 double crochet, or you can make it with a 4 double crochet for a wider pattern. Here I have one that's made in red, and you can see it just makes it for a little bit different look. Today I will show you with the 3 double crochet, but you can also do it with the 4. So let's start with a slip knot. We will then chain 17. You can make this however long you would like, till it's about the right width for the brim of your hat when it is folded in half. The width of my brim turned out to be almost 4 inches or 10 centimeters, and this will be folded in half. Once you have your desired length, we will start our first row with single crochet. So starting in the second chain from the hook, we will single crochet all the way across. For my width, it'll be 16 single crochet. Once you have reached the end, chain 1 and turn. We will start our first stitch in the back loop only. So starting in that first stitch, back loop only, we will do single crochet all the way across. Be sure not to miss that last stitch. It can be a little tricky. It's kind of hidden in the back. So that's going to be our repeat pattern. So we will chain 1 and turn, and we're going to continue this until you have your desired length. Always make sure you have the same amount of stitches in each row. Crochet an even amount of rows until you have approximately 60 rows. So it's going to be about 17 to 20 inches, or 44 to 50 centimeters, or until it fits your head. We can now fold the brim in half. We will join with slip stitches. Insert your hook into the single crochet and then into the chain space on the other side. Grab your yarn, pull through, and pull all the way through to do a slip stitch. So again, insert into the single crochet, then into the chain, and finish with a slip stitch. Continue all the way down. And finishing your last stitch into the last single crochet and into the last space with a slip stitch. So when you finish, there's going to be a bump, but this is going to be on the inside when we fold it in half, and the other side is just a great seamless finish. So let's fold it in half, lining up the rows. We can tuck in that beginning end later. So line up the row, and we will start with the chain 1. We will then do a single crochet on the end of each row. So putting our hook into one side, lining it up to the other, and doing the single crochet. And just get that beginning yarn out of the way. Like I said, we will tuck that in later. So doing single crochet at the end of the row, insert our hook, and do a single crochet. So when you insert on one side, it looks like you're kind of going under one piece of yarn. On the other side, it looks more of a stitch. It's going to be opposite because the rows are opposite. Just make sure your rows are lined up. So finding that spot at the end of each row, single crochet, the next one, and continue all the way around. I will see you when you've reached the beginning. I'm just switching back to my original color. So once you've reached the beginning, we're going to do a slip stitch into the top of the first single crochet to join. We will now do one more row of single crochet. This will be to increase the stitches. So now we can determine the size of our hat. So you're going to want to have your stitches to be divisible by 6 or by 8 if you want to do the 4 double crochet pattern. So starting with a chain 1, my hat is going to have 66 stitches. So I'm going to increase this row by 6 stitches. So every 10 stitches, I'm going to put 2 to do an increase. So this is the row that you will make to make the correct number for your plaid pattern. So here I will put 2 single crochet in 1 stitch, and I'm going to do this every 10 stitches, so I will have a total of 66. Once you've come around back to the beginning, we will slip stitch to join in the top of the first single crochet and chain 1. We are now going to start our plaid pattern. We will start in the very first stitch with the double crochet. The chain 1 that we start with will not be counted as a stitch. We will then put a double crochet in the next stitch. For our third double crochet, we're going to stop halfway. So stop right there, and this is where we're going to pull up our second color. Remember, if you do the 4 double crochet pattern, you will do 3.5 double crochet. So pulling our second color through to finish the stitch, we will then carry our original color at the bottom and start our double crochets with the new yarn. So make sure you pull snug, and with the new yarn, we will do 2 double crochet. So here's 1, always pull snug, make sure that tail is left behind, carrying your original yarn. Here's our second double crochet, and for our third one, we're going to stop halfway. The main color will always stay to the back, So that will be our beige, and the other color will come to the front. So finish the stitch with our original beige color. Always make sure you pull snug. Let's do 2 more double crochet. So 1, 2. As you can see, our yarn is being carried, our brown yarn. And then we're going to do a half. So stopping right there, give a pull, and our main color to the back, and our brown to the front, and finish the stitch. Let's repeat. So we're going to go 2.5 double crochet. So that's 2, and we're going to do a half, and then our brown will come to the front. Our beige will always stay to the back, and we will finish the stitch and give a pull. This should help keep your yarn a bit straighter when you go around the row. So there we have the 2.5 double crochet. Give a little pull, pull up the new yarn, finish the stitch. I will meet you when we get back around to the beginning. We will now add our third color. So for the second row, we are going to do beige and gray, starting with gray. So the yarn that you're going to start with on the next row is the one that we want to pull to finish our stitch. So we're going to put the other 2 yarns over the hook, and we're going to finish the stitch with our new color. Leave the tail behind and do a chain 1. So now we want to work just with our 2 colors for this row, which will be the gray and the beige. We are going to leave the brown in the back. We can start with our double crochet in the first stitch. So let's put 1 double crochet. Make sure you're carrying that second color for the row. And we'll do our second double crochet and our half. So we're going to continue this row the same way, leaving the main beige color to the back and bring the gray forward. And finish our stitch. Starting with our beige color, 2.5 double crochet, always give the yarn a little pull, and finish the stitch. Continue this row with the gray beige pattern. Just leave your ends behind. You'll see that the brown that we've left is ready to come up for our next row, and our beginning yarn we can weave in at the end. So again, 2.5 double crochet, gray to the front, beige to the back, give a pull, finish the stitch. Continue around and I will meet you at the beginning of the row. So we will now do our beige and brown row again. So starting with the beige color, that is the color we want to finish our stitch with. So inserting your hook into the top of the first double crochet, we want to keep our beige yarn to the back, pulling our other two yarns to the front. So keep the beige to the back because that's our start. And let's finish the stitch with the beige yarn and a chain one. And now we will put our gray yarn to the back and out of the way, because this row will be for beige and brown. These two rows will be repeated throughout the pattern. Continue along with me and I will show you the join a couple more times. As you can see in the back, you will just have your beginning tails and you won't have any long strands by carrying your yarn up this way. This makes for a nice finish on the inside. Let's continue on. You can now see the pattern of the two rows, the beige and brown and the beige and gray, to make our buffalo plaid. So I'll meet you back at the beginning. So we know we want to start with the gray. So we will insert our hook into the top, pull our other two yarns over, and then finish the stitch with the gray. Do a chain one. We're going to leave our brown color behind and work our gray and beige row. I hope you've got the hang of this pattern. I will show you a few more stitches and one more join. So once you're at the end of the round, we know we'll start our next round with the beige color. Insert the hook into the top. We'll put the other two colors over the hook and finish our stitch with our beige. Finishing the stitch, and then a chain 1, tuck the color that we don't need behind, and start our beige and brown row. So tuck the gray, and now we can continue. You can also see on the inside that everything is tied in. You should have no long strands, and just continue. Continue until you have about 14 rows. Mine was about 8 inches or 20 centimeters, and this length gives me a little bit more of a slouchy hat. You can make it shorter if you would like. To finish the last round, we're just going to do a slip stitch with our beige color. Cut the gray and brown, just leaving a short tail. We'll just tie those ends in, but leave the beige one longer so we can close up the top of our hat. So let's turn our hat inside out. We will tie in all of our ends except for the longer beige yarn. That will be used to close up the top. As you can see how nice the inside seam is finished. With your darning needle, we can weave in all of our ends, except for the longer beige one. To close the top, we will weave in and out, pulling snug as we go along, and then we're going to close up the hole. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please like and subscribe, and make sure you watch until the very end for some great color ideas. See you next time. Bye.